Hi, I am Swapnil Mohata and I am into paints manufacturing. But today, let's throw some color on the topic of stagnancy. Business stagnancy is not a punishment, but several times it happens that every entrepreneur, every business owner, or even a dreamer ask themselves at least one time that why I am stuck in this business, why my business feels this much stuck. So when you run business, you get an idea like running business is similar to fixing IKEA furniture. You are confident for first 5 minutes, but after seeing the leftover screws, your self-esteem goes upside down. Similarly, in business, rivals are not just the competitors. They are your random uncle who gives you free financial advices, your cousin who knows everything about business because he watches Shark Tank, or even your paperwork pile. But business stagnancy is totally different. It can happen to any company, big or small, tea seller to a billionaire. But today we are going to discuss how even big icons went through this phase and how they came up strong. Even some of them faded away. There are 5 major points because of which the business stagnancy can happen. The first is not focusing enough on your core purpose. So, running a company without a core purpose, it's like when your mom asks you to get some milk from the market and you come back with butter, paneer, biscuits, and some interesting gossips, but not the milk. The same thing happened with the Apple. In 1990s, Apple being everyone's favorite startup, someone suggested them to get 27 new more products to the basket. And what happened? Apple loses money and customers started losing interest. But then Steve Jobs came back and he slashed almost 70% of their product line and focused and conveyed everyone that Apple is just about designs, innovation, and creativity. And within no time, from $1 billion loss to $1 trillion company, Apple emerges like a big icon in the industry. The core lesson which we can take it from here, that always focus on your core purpose of your any business. The second thing, ignoring innovation or digital transformation. In today's tech savvy world, if you refuse to use UPI payments, it feels safer. But when you are still counting on coins, your competitors must have already transacted and went ahead of you. The same thing happened with Kodak cameras. When they invented the digital camera, but they locked it so that no one can use it. Because they were so much attached to their past that their present went behind the circus. And everyone knows that is how they got faded away. On other hand, the Ford did the exactly opposite. When they incur billions of losses, but still they came up with new innovation, new transformation, and welcoming all the digital transformation which is happening in the current world. And that resulted them again being the market leader or industry leader again. So no matter what technology is coming across you or your business, you have to adapt that. Because if you are still stuck with the paperwork or photocopies by hand, where your competitor is already using AI to choose their blazer colors. The third and most interesting topic is complications instead of focusing on your strength. So this reminds me of my neighbor's kitchen shelf. There are hundreds of jars, but only 2 gets used ever. So same thing happened with Lego. Lego thought kids want the theme parks, the new clothes, movies on Lego, so they diverted themselves there instead of focusing only on bricks. That resulted them into the stagnancy. Then new CEO comes up with and cuts all the unnecessary costing. Even at that time, there were 13,000 types of bricks. He cut them down to 6,500 and only focused on the classical designs, and even collaborated with Harry Potter and Star Wars. That resulted after a few years where Lego is now known as one of the biggest toy manufacturer with a quality. So instead of focusing on random things, you should play only on your strength. The same thing I have seen very closely with two of the companies. One company, e-commerce store, they were having hundreds of products in their basket, but only few products from one category was moving ahead. But that category was also stuck in the clutter of another 90 products. So they took a bold move by removing that category and that line from the clutter and formed a new company with a new brand name named as Vet Sanjeevani today, and totally focused there. So that is how they doubled their sales very next year. The same thing happened with our paint company, where our catalog looked like overloaded Mumbai local train, right? So what we did, we segregated two of the product ranges and from the different company. The Crack Shield is the new company where we only deal with the waterproofing, and within no time, the both companies thrived and started getting good market share. Moving ahead, the most important where we all neglect is a poor consumer experience. Sometimes the consumer experience in any companies feels like surfing internet in 90s, slow, confusing, and pops up with random server errors. The same thing happened with Starbucks when they were expanding exponentially. They expanded themselves to major cities and in every city in all the corners, but they were not able to give the quality. They were only be able to serve the lukewarm latte and the cold customer services. That resulted into deep profits, margins, and market share. Then Mr. Howard, he came back as a CEO and he conveyed everyone that Starbucks is just about coffee and person. He even closed down all the non-performing Starbucks stores and even closed all stores for one day to retrain all the baristas, and came up with an idea to take feedbacks from consumers about my Starbucks idea. And believe me, 93,000 plus ideas got submitted by the consumers, out of which Starbucks were able to implement the major ones like personalized rewards, in-store experiences, building their own app. And that is how they recollected the loyalty from the customer. And now everyone knows Starbucks is one of the greatest leader in coffee industry. Moving ahead, the internal management issues. This sometimes actually feels like having fights between Sas and Bahu for leading their houses, or even the company's internal politics sometimes looks more interesting than Game of Thrones. The same happened with the Jet Airways. Due to their leadership conflict and drama, the Maharaja class got converted to a Vada Pav regular overnight. The same issue has been faced by Marvels. The Marvel comic in 1998 were under stress of and debt of $250 million. Reasons? Too many departments, too many leaders, too many decision makers. Employees were shrinking faster than the superhero's costume during wash. Marvel management did, they slimmed down the management team. They have started doing smart licensing, innovative strategies. They started licensing their comic superheroes to movies and video games. So now the comic book superheroes have become the box office superstars. Everything was going well. Then in 2009, Disney acquired Marvel for $4.3 billion. That is the biggest success for Marvel. So internal management issues can happen in any company, but during that issues, you don't need Iron Man to fight. you need a iron resolve. So now wrapping up to all the 5 ideas and examples, whenever you feel stuck in your business, always remember, don't be a kitchen who tries to cook every cuisine available. Focus on your signature dish. Innovate boldly or risk being remembered as having potential. Same like the Kodak cameras, or even in that case, Nokia. They were so much into Symbian system, they were not able to adapt to Androids, and that is how they faded away. So innovate boldly. The third is focus on your core strengths. Play with your strengths. Even if you have to start a new company or new brand for that matter, you should do that. Apart from that, the most crucial is your customer service. Treat every consumer, customer in a way thinking that they are gonna post a tweet tonight about you. Build your team strong. When Marvel can fix their office issues, so can you, and you don't need Hulk to solve your issues. So, whenever you think you are stuck, just remember business stagnancy is just temporary, but reinvention is forever. May your balance sheets, your strategies, and your plans looks more interesting than your vacation slideshows. And may your balance sheet, profit, and Wi-Fi run at full speed. Thank you. Signing off, Swapnil Mohata from SofttouchPaints. Thank you.